I would like to divide my journey into phases. The first part of my life, not even the first half, the first third, would be my early teens. I left home when I was nearly 20 to become a priest. I was 19 in March and turning 20 in April. That was the first phase. The second phase was perhaps the 20, 30 years that followed, right up to 50 or 45 years, or 45, 50 there. The third phase is now. In my second phase, I became the Bishop of Chinoy. And my motto was that in Him there is plentiful redemption, that God is a redeemer, that the underlying theme is go and announce to my people that no matter how terrible they are, how broken they are welcome. God always has a space for another sinner or the worst of sinners. In Him there is plentiful redemption. It's a redemptorist motto. It's what makes us go out and want to preach conversion, because in Him, in God, there is plentiful redemption. You will always be forgiven. You will always be healed. So why not come back home? You are the prodigal son that God has been looking out to see, coming back in and walking in, still far in the distance. The third phase, I'm getting old. It's no longer about just preaching. Even though the theme of the pastoral theme of the diocese is about a re-evangelization of the diocese, preaching again. But there's something that has broken through. God inviting me to spend more time with Him as a critical part of the definition of preaching the gospel. It's not about words. It's not about pastoral energy. It's not about going out there and setting a tent beside a beer hall. It's about me. It's about prayer. And things will demand you to come before the altar of the Lord to offer them to God. First, before you go and preach, know that I want a lion's share of your life. Prayer is in my third phase, maybe now, being 56, the most critical part. I remember Pope Benedict, when he retired, he says, now I can spend the rest of my life as I always wanted, in the presence of the Father. I have grown in that desire to become more present to God. I still struggle because there's so much to do. There are so many things to be done, so many visits, so many journeys. But in the midst of all these journeys, there is something that says, come back to the Father. Say your rosary as you drive. Pray your divine mercy as you go. Come back and kneel before me in the chapel, before the Blessed Sacrament. For God's sake, you are a Redemptorist. Remember the special devotion of Redemptorists, kneeling before the Blessed Sacrament in prayer. So the third phase is probably the phase that we all must come to, the phase of bonding deeply with God, who is calling us, who is calling me. And maybe for all these years, I haven't been so cooperative. Now is the time when He is asking me to depend on Him, to pray more, so that I can become more effective, so that the church can become more effective. And so it's evangelization on our knees. That's how I would join the pastoral theme of He has sent me to preach the good news, and this motto, the motto that sets us on fire for mission because we have been with Him. We are witnesses because we know Him. We have encountered Him in our prayer, and we are bringing something fresh, something new, not the God we heard about, but the God we have met and we continue to meet on our daily basis. From my own experience, when God calls, it's very clear that you are being called. You don't come to try it out. You are responding to a call. At least that's my experience. I've heard many people speak differently about it. I'm still discerning. When you hear the call, respond. Respond generously, and God will bless you plenty, greatly, in full measure. The call to become a priest is a call that, when we hear it, leaves us in no doubt that we are being called. The biggest challenge is not the call, is what it will take to say yes. Having to leave your mom and dad, having to leave the familiar, like Abraham, having to give up a natural right to marriage. Marriage is a natural right. And because you have been called, you voluntarily give it up for this call. That sometimes can be difficult for people. Am I giving up all this? I wouldn't want to give up all this. If God were to say, have all this and come and follow me, I would. But you have to travel light. He has called you to imitate the Divine Master, Jesus Himself. And say yes and don't delay. That's what I would say. It's an exciting vocation. It's something worth living for, worth dying for. If I were to go back to my early days, as Sister Pius would say to me, I would still choose it. Yes, this group of priests. Father Lloyd, Father Knowledge, Father Bishop Mupa, all these young priests, Father Hubert, Madramus, all these young priests, Father Tawanda, who else? Many who come to mind, Father Chai, Chambara, Innocent, and many other young priests. Yeah. Start well. Commit yourself wholeheartedly at the very beginning. Set your standards. Live the vows. Be faithful. You may struggle, but always get up. Pray, pray, pray. And you will celebrate your 10th anniversary. You will celebrate your 20th anniversary because God will lead the way. There will be ups and downs. There will be tears along the way. But they are not always tears of sadness and sorrow. They are also tears of joy. I've had it all. But know that the Lord will always be there. Trust in the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Please say the Rosary. Because just as we rely on the prayers of others, we always say, pray for me. Remember also that even those who have gone before us, especially the Blessed Virgin Mary, the mother of Jesus, prays for us. That's her work. Her work is the work of all the saints, is the work of those we ask to intercede for us. She will pray for you. So be of good courage. You will get there. You will even do greater things than I have done. You will become saints way before I am. Be faithful, pray, trust, and, name your price. Don't be cheap. Don't go on the cheap. Well, hobbies. I've got a number of hobbies. I want perhaps to talk about golf, just to thank a friend of mine, Dr. Chitambo Lazarus from Chinoi. He got me onto the golf course. I went there not because of golf, but because of friendship. You hit the ball, and for the next 5 minutes you are walking towards the ball, and you are chatting and laughing. We've done that a lot. I've gotten new friends who are not even Catholic as a result of playing golf, introduced to me by these friends of mine. So golf is a hobby. Maybe now I'll give it more time. Now I've got Mr. Muzikisi here, many other friends who are playing it, and Bishop Rudolph Nyandoro. Just to say, on Sunday we will be driving to our bishop's meeting, which begins on Tuesday morning or Monday evening. But during the day on Monday we are playing golf with Bishop Horan, who is a very good golfer. So that's one of my hobbies. A hobby that is very close to me, maybe something that I keep wanting others to take up. Is a very important and special hobby for young priests, for young religious, for seminarians and seminaries, is reading. It's important to read. We are who we are not because we went to universities and got degrees. most of the degrees that we got were with a gun pointed to our heads. We had to do it for your mom, for your dad, and maybe just for your future you needed a degree to be somebody in the future. But this one is for you. It's a degree that you get in your leisure time just reading for free. I read a lot of things. I read books, and not only religious books. I love poetry. You see me reading William Wordsworth. You will see me reading a lot of literature that has nothing to do with faith, but that just interests me. I like reading. I like reading novels. In my very early days, I would track down Zimbabwean novelists and Shima Chinojwa. He became my friend, and you would say at the book show in August every year I would go there. Say, brother, Father Ray. And he got to know me. He's not a Catholic, but he got to know me because I used to go there and pick up a book and just read and enjoy literature. I got to know Mungoshi, sat him down one day and listened to him talking about ndokupindana kwamazuva chinamaninja achifambisa. And that's, I just love literature. So I've read novels. I've been encouraged in my young days just to read in order to get more acquainted with other people's ideas and how they express them. So I read, but most importantly, I read spiritual books. It's been something that hammered into me at the very beginning by my spiritual directors. I began this journey by reading a book by Thomas Green called Opening to God. Then I read another one by him called When the Well Runs Dry. Then I read a third one, Drinking from the Dry Well. It's about a spiritual journey. Then I started reading a lot of works by Carlo Caretto, the God who comes in search of the beyond, and all literature. Then I went into John of the Cross and Teresa of Avila, and I've read and continue to read books and encyclicals, the writings of the Holy Fathers, and their works. I've read a lot of Pope Benedict's works, his encyclicals, beautiful encyclicals of Pope Francis. I've read them all. What I do as a pastime, I enjoy it and I encourage people to do it, lay people and religious alike. It's important to read. That's the degree that you give yourself.